I am no longer a fraud. Yay! Okay. Welcome to Psyche's Thoughts. My name isn't Psyche, it's Elizabeth, and you're here. I'm here. We're here because I've made a commitment every day to share, to unleash the burden on my mind, on my heart. And today, I guess we are revisiting a previous burden. Not, no, actually, no, because this is a TikTok turned reel. It's here. If you go to shorts, I talked about it here. I posted it here too, rather. But back in November, I was talking about how I was putting myself on Fraud Watch as a writer because I ain't no writer. Well, I didn't feel like a writer because I wasn't behaving like one. And if you go and watch that video, which I implore you to, I talk about how um I became really obsessed with obsessed is a strong word. What's this word? Enveloped. I became really enveloped with the perception of how my poems were being received, and I always felt like I had to prove myself to be a writer by writing a really good poem, a really good essay, and if I felt like the poem wasn't good, it wasn't going to get finished. And so that's why I was like, you're not a writer, you're a fraud. But I no longer am that. Or rather, I was never a fraud, but I no longer feel like a fraud, right? So yeah, improvement. But yeah. It's not even because I feel like I'm writing significantly more than I was before. I am probably writing probably like I want to say 10% more than I was at that time. But it's how I approach my writing. I'm letting it flow. I'm letting things flow naturally. I'm letting my writing be what it is. And that's something that actually posting on here every day has helped me with, because there are a lot of times where you, well, sometimes I do take a few takes of these videos just to make sure I sound like I'm making sense. But there are a lot of times I post something and I'm like, I wonder if this even makes sense. And people will comment and be like, oh my gosh, like I think this too, or I never even thought, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm detracting, right? But me being able to post, just post and go, right? Just talk, post and go has helped me develop that same skill in writing, where I'm just like writing and going, not really thinking about the end product, or not even thinking about, is it going to be great? Is it even going to be good? But just writing, and going. And then we can go back when we look at it with second eyes and edit and make things better and improve and all those all those things. And it's interesting because I think my journey as a writer has been, I think a lot of people can relate to this, where before I started even Psyche's Thoughts, I was very stingy and selfish with my writing. I didn't want to share it with anybody. I didn't even want people to really know that I wrote poetry because I felt like it was way too vulnerable. Like, I didn't want anybody to read my poetry and think that they knew me. I don't even, hopefully that makes sense, but it was just like, that's too much ice. Like, you do not, I don't know. I don't know, right? But I went from not wanting to share it at all to sharing and wanting people to think that this is good. Like, I want people to think whatever, right? I was obsessed with the perception of it. How was my work being received? I became very obsessed. Was anybody even receiving it at all? I just became very engrossed in it, and it made me not want to write at all because I don't know. It just, well, no, I do know. Because it was like, if I'm not getting the eyes that I feel like I need to have on it, then what's the point, right? And I had to take a step back. And I think that, especially, again, doing this helped me take a step back and be like, no, that's not why you write, but whatever. No, it's not whatever, right? I think also why I'm not a fraud anymore, why I don't consider myself a fraud anymore. My hair is like really poofy right now. Well, it's supposed to be because he's straight, but whatever. Why I don't consider myself a fraud anymore is because I'm way more, for the first time in my life, I'm the most comfortable with people knowing that I am a writer, that I have a blog, that I write poetry, that I even do. I don't think I've told people I do YouTube yet. Well, do I do YouTube? I don't know. Anyway, but I'm very more, I'm much more open than I was previously. And so that's a very good improvement. So like I can't be a fraud if I'm open about what I do now. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like the biggest part is I'm starting to have bigger dreams for this YouTube channel, for my blog, just for Psyche Thoughts in general. Like, some things, ideas. Um, I'm starting to like have, and they're definitely long term goals, but I know that everything that I do now builds upon itself and will grow hopefully into that. I am writing a poetry book. Okay, well, not writing necessarily yet. I won't start officially. Well, I'm writing poetry that I know that it won't get published on the blog because I think I'm going to put it on the book. But then I'm also like, I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to start writing a poetry book this year. That's final. And so I'm very excited about that journey and like publishing, and probably will think about having to do that within the next 2 3 years. So like, yeah, I'm not a fraud anymore because I'm finally developing as an artist. I'm finally developing as a writer, and so I'm happy about that. Yeah, I think that's really all I had to say today. If you liked this video, like, I'm supposed to be telling y'all to like the video. Yeah, can y'all like the video? I don't know. If you want to see more of me, you can see more of me up in this corner on this channel here. You can also follow me on TikTok. I am also on Instagram, all at Psyche Thoughts. You can go to psychethoughts.com and read my poetry and read my stuff there. What else do I have to say? If you've ever felt like a fraud, let me know. What made you feel like a fraud? Do you still feel like a fraud? I hope you don't, because you're not a fraud. Anyway, bye bye.